Good morning, everyone. Xin chào. I'm Sam Ong. I'm come from Singapore. I'm with the Institute Agents of Estate Agent of Singapore. And what we do is that we run this institution, just like associations. And what we do is that we actually help the agents in the Singapore market. We'll be their voice. We will bridge them within the authorities. So when they get feedback from them, we pass down to the authorities in Singapore. And if the authorities have any regulation, new release of regulations, we will bring it back to our members. Frankly, I've been here in Vietnam 20 years ago, if not 25 years, as early as in the year 2005, 2004. I first came to Vietnam. And then after that, I haven't been here for the past 15 years. And this is the second time, not second time, but after many visits, this is after this long period of time that I come back to Vietnam and Hanoi. I see there is a huge difference. Now, as for the investment coming from Singapore, definitely there is a huge improvement and also a huge interest. Recently, there's a visit, which is last year, August. Singapore Prime Minister have visited here, and we have actually, the Singapore side have actually signed another 4 more new VSIP, Vietnam Singapore Industrial Park. That shows that Vietnam is really a key destination for Singapore foreign direct investment. Again, at that I will go back to the recent visit by the Prime Minister of Singapore. We are here to establish easily about a strategic partnership for decades, maybe 10 years or even 15 years of relationship with Vietnam's government, Singapore government and Vietnam governments. And I think Singapore have actually welcomed the advancement of Vietnam in the sense, and we have gained more confidence, and over the past 20 years we can see that there are lots of improvement, and otherwise we won't have it go, you would have currently 13 VSIP and looking for more. So I guess definitely the Vietnam government have done a great economic plan for investor, not just in Singapore, but for other countries as well. Currently, the investment environment in Vietnam, I think, is fantastic. Yeah. I can use one word, which is really fantastic, because overall I see that there are a lot of, let's just talk about transportation, international transportation. They have more direct links, even more direct flights into Ho Chi Minh and into Hanoi. And also you have also some of the fourth cities in the lying area like Da Nang, or even sometimes like the tourist area in Sapa and all this. So with the improvement of transportations, and one thing I observed the difference for the last 15 years that last year was the road is much wider. You have more highways, wider roads, more highway express, and it's not like the past where the roads are always being jammed out by even with small vehicle like motorcycles. But these days you have much bigger cars on the road. With that, generally Singaporean across the board, if I'm talking about individual investor, I'm talking about people like myself, what we'll be looking out for in Vietnam, if they want to invest here. Of course, I'm not a big corporation, not a big company. I won't be looking into an industrial park or anything, or even big development. So what I'll do, I'll probably I will start to something that's easy to understand, and also subject to the regulation. We will do something like apartments, which in Singapore we call condominiums, which I think, on my opinion, because of the Singapore developers who have been here, namely CapitaLand and Capital, they have been here for such a long time, I think since 1990s. And along they came here, over the year they developed, they also bring in a lot of trust from the Singaporean who want to invest in that brand name into this country. So to start off, normally will be residential property. Ideally, if Singaporean can also go into villas, and I think that will be very interesting. Of course, the Vietnam for real estate investment, it had to be much clearer in their rule and regulations, and able to protect the foreign investor in terms when they purchase a property, their assets are protected. In terms of real estate in industry market, not just industry market, commercial market. I guess Vietnam have probably now become the next world factories. I mean, it used to be China, but I guess China have somehow closed a lot of doors and then trying to recover. But during the COVID period, we know that a lot of businesses have actually transferred into Vietnam market. That's why we are. We will take the cue from the G to G, government to government. We're looking at Singapore government. Of course, they have the foresight. That's why they are going ahead with 4 more, not just 4 more, I think will be more later, Vietnam, Singapore Industrial Park. And with that, I think more businesses in Singapore, especially those who deal with manufacturing and all this, they will probably want to make inroads into Vietnam and set up factories here and industrial area. Just I mentioned earlier, I'm representing the Institute of Estate Agents of Singapore. We are actually a community for the agents back in Singapore. Singapore alone have practicing agent, about 30 over 1,000 real estate practitioner, registered, licensed. And what we do is that together we'll try to look for some opportunity for them. When they want to go abroad, they want to look into other countries, in this case like Vietnam. They want to understand the landscape better. They want to know who they can tie up with and bring in Singaporean purchaser to come to Vietnam market. They need to know the situation, the market condition here, some data, some understanding of the locations. So the only way to work with this, I foresee that I have to work together with the so-called the same equivalent, the association in this case. And currently we are working with Vietnam National Real Estate Association, as well as we're also working with VA, Vietnam Association of Realtors. What we do is that we bring together programs in exchange. We have actually planned for webinars to share, since most of them cannot travel in and out easily. But of course, in fact, recently we conducted a tour. That was last year. IEA actually worked together with VAR and Vietnam National Real Estate Association, that we actually conduct a study tour for our members who came here. And they were quite happy. They get to meet up with the local developers. They meet up with local real estate agents, practitioners, and they exchange ideas. And they also exchange contact for future use. And I think those are some constructive areas that we can actually look at. From the news, I don't follow Vietnam in depth, because generally there are way too many things in hand to look at. But of course, the interest for Vietnam have picked up recently in Singapore because of Singapore tighter control in purchasing of property, even for our own residential, for our own citizens. Meaning that if in Singapore recently, last year in April, they announced foreigner who buy Singapore property, you have to put up 60% upfront cost in terms of tax. And even for our own local, the citizens, they have to pay 20% more for second property and 30% more for third or more property. That itself had put up a lot of upfront costs into the investment in the property back in Singapore. So Singaporeans are actually looking to invest overseas with overseas generally, and what they're looking at is that the country that can offer them a good returns in terms of capital gain, which Vietnam has over the past years, and also good rental income return. So my opinion is generally the Singaporean will still be very interested in the Vietnam market. And however, I guess the negative news from Vietnam just the past year, I think with a lot of scam reported over the most of the developer here have run into some troubles and all this and that. So they will probably taken back a bit. But I guess with more positive news, with Vietnam cramp down on all these so-called lawbreakers, that give the very positive notes to the market and say that Vietnam government is serious, that the property market need to be cleaned up with all the bad shit in that sense, so that they can give them a better, clearer picture and a stable investment scenario. So I guess Singaporean will look at it and they will be more careful, but at the same time they will probably want to know, they will probably commit themselves more, because knowing that the government had taken up steps to clamp down on all these scammers. So just now we're talking about 2022, comparing going forward now, 2022-23, now we're going forward to 2024. Going forward, I guess my opinion, with all the cleanups and all the tightening, I wouldn't say tightening, but more like the government actually make effort to take up all those illegal developers and all this in Vietnam. That give a lot of confidence for foreign investors, and especially Singaporeans. They will probably, another area is because of the strong currency of Singapore dollars. So they will always be looking out for investment in Vietnam. Of course, they will be more selective in location, reputable developer, where you have more reputable developer and good quality buildings that come along the way, or apartment that are better quality, better built. They will probably be interested. And going forward, I guess that we will attract more interest in that sense, citing these two reasons, that other than the strong currency, and also because of the buying cost back at home, back in Singapore is a bit higher now. So yeah, I think 2024, 25, I think it's a very good time to come into the market. I think you just have to be very clear with the structure in Vietnam.
Yeah. To attract more investors.
Yeah, you could attract more. I think you can just conduct more roadshow from Vietnam, tied up with us in IEA back in Singapore. We can do some roadshow in Singapore. You can do that, and we can invite investor, property developer, and as well as so-called I think something like convention or anything. I think it can work. I said earlier is that IEA is not a brokerage firm. We don't do buy sell. We are a non-profit organization, so we don't look into profit, but we will do the matching and bridging for our members. And if there's anything that can facilitate the transaction deals and all this, I think we will be very happy to play a role, to play a part as what they call introducer, or you can call them a middleman in account. We are not going to expect anything in the return, but more like reaching out for everyone.